In this session, we will be discussing about the development of kidney, but the topic is development of urogenital system. So, part of it, this is the urinary system and genital system both develop from the intermediate mesoderm. So, it is considered as a single topic. But we will not be discussing everything about urogenital system development. So under this the urinary system, we need to know development of kidneys, ureters, how the urinary bladder develops, and the urethra. But in this session, we will be just discussing about the development of kidney, the urogenital system, the urinary system and genital system together. It develops from the intermediate mesoderm. Now, what is intermediate mesoderm? Intermediate mesoderm is a part of the intraembryonic mesoderm which get divided into three parts, that is paraxial mesoderm, intermediate mesoderm and lateral plate mesoderm from midline to lateral aspect. Now this intermediate mesoderm which give rise to urogenital system, it appear as a longitudinal thickening over the posterior abdominal wall. Longitudinal elevation over the posterior wall of the body on either side of the abdominal aorta. Here is the gut tube and this is the dorsal mesentery, and posterior to that we get the dorsal aorta. On either side of the aorta there will be an elevation because of the proliferation of the mesoderm, and this elevation is called urogenital ridge. Now this later will be divided into a medial elevation, and that is called medial elevation, and that is called genital ridge, and a lateral larger elevation that is called nephrogenic cord. Lateral elevation is called nephrogenic cord. Now from this nephrogenic cord the kidney develops. So we need to concentrate on this. In front of this we get the hindgut and the cloaca, part of the hindgut. The lowermost part of the hindgut is the cloaca. Now this cloaca ventrally connected to the allantois, and from here the gut tube is connected to the midgut is connected to the umbilical cord by the Wittlein duct. So these structures are lying in front. Now this diagram this is the urogenital or urorectal septum. It is nothing but a layer of mesoderm which comes in between the Wittlein duct and the allantois, and it grows caudally, and then it reaches the cloacal membrane, and dividing in that way it divides the cloaca into an anterior part and a posterior part. So this septum is called urorectal septum or urogenital septum. Now the anterior part of the cloaca is called urogenital sinus. This part is called urogenital sinus, which forms the urinary bladder also. Now the posterior part is called primitive rectum, from which the rectum and anal canal develop. So this is all about the cloaca, because cloaca also comes in connection with the urinary system development, that is urinary bladder develops from there. Now coming back to the topic, that is development of kidney. So kidney develop from nephrogenic cord, that is the lateral part of the intermediate mesoderm. Now this kidney develops in three sets, successive sets of kidneys. They are called pronephros, mesonephros and metanephros. As I said, the nephrogenic cord extends craniocaudally over the posterior body wall, and the cranial most part is the pronephros, that seen in the cervical and upper thoracic region. So this is the part of the nephrogenic cord which lies in the cervical and upper thoracic region is called pronephros. That is the earliest kidney appear by the beginning of 4th week. Now this will disintegrate completely by the end of 4th week. So there is no remnant of pronephros remains in human beings. Now the second pair develops from mesonephros. Mesonephros consists of an unsegmented part and a segmented part which consists of mesonephric tubules and which joins to form a mesonephric duct. So mesonephric duct caudally joins with the cloaca. So this is a cloaca. So caudally it joins with the cloaca. So that is the mesonephros. From there the mesonephric duct and the distal caudal part of the mesonephric tubules and mesonephric duct persist. The cranial part disintegrate. The persistent part will give rise to the genital system in males, that is the efferent ductules, then epididymis, then the duct of epididymis, then vas deferens, seminal vesicle, and the ejaculatory duct. So all this duct system of male reproductive system develops from the mesonephric tubules and caudal part of the mesonephric tubules and mesonephric duct. Now the caudalmost part of the mesonephric duct joins with the cloaca. Before it opens into the cloaca, it gives out a diverticulum, and this is called ureteric bud. This diverticulum is called ureteric bud, and it as it grows out, it stimulates the surrounding metanephros into it forms metanephric blastema. So it is converted into metanephric blastema. So that is about the metanephros. Now the metanephros give rise to the permanent or definitive kidney. So the pronephros beginning of 4th week, and it's seen in the cervical as well as upper thoracic region, regresses by the end of 4th week. That is about the pronephros. Now the mesonephros develop in the thoracolumbar region of the nephrogenic cord, and it consists of the glomeruli will be here, and tubules, mesonephric tubules which empty or joins with the mesonephric duct. Now this mesonephric tubules open into the mesonephric duct. This mesonephric duct caudally it opens into the cloaca. So that is about the mesonephros. Now the metanephros or permanent kidney or definitive kidney. It develops where in the lumbosacral region of the nephrogenic cord. Lumbosacral region of the nephrogenic cord. It consists of two parts, the excretory part and collecting part. Now the collecting part forms from ureteric bud, which in turn develops from the mesonephric duct. So it has, the permanent kidney has two parts, excretory part and collecting part. The collecting part develops from the ureteric bud, which is a diverticulum from the mesonephric duct, just before it opens into the cloaca. This diverticulum comes out from the mesonephric duct before it opens into cloaca. Now this ureteric bud, as it grows out, it will enter into the metanephros and stimulate the metanephros into and convert it into metanephric blastema. So metanephric blastema forms the excretory part of the kidney that develops or that differentiate from the mesoderm lying over in the sacral region, and it gets induced or stimulated by the ureteric bud. If the ureteric bud is not coming out and reaching this part, it will not get induced and it will fail to develop into the excretory part. So we have the collecting part, collecting system or collecting part, excretory part or excretory system. This forms the entire kidney. Now, as I said, the collecting part, within the metanephric, it grows into the metanephric blastema. So this is the metanephric blastema. Within the blastema, this bud, ureteric bud, divides to form. It divides and form the major calyces, and then divides to form the minor calyces. And then it forms the collecting tubules, and then collecting ducts, and then collecting tubules. So that is how it forms the different parts of the collecting system or collecting part of the kidney. Now, what are the derivatives of this ureteric bud? You have to remember the lowermost part is the ureter. Then we have the dilated part, that is the pelvis of the ureter. Then we have the major calyces, 3 to 4, and then we get the minor calyces. Then we get the collecting ducts and the collecting tubules. So these are the derivatives of ureteric bud. Now about the excretory part. Excretory part appears in the 5th week after the formation of the ureteric bud and later part of the collecting system of the kidney. Now the ureteric bud induces, how it forms this excretory part. The ureteric bud induces the overlying mesoderm, which will be transformed into metanephros. Now we call it as metanephros. Now this metanephros, it will be known as metanephric blastema. It forms a cup-shaped structure over the terminal end of the ureteric bud. So this is called metanephric blastemal cap. Develop in the lumbosacral region of the nephrogenic cord. That is the lowermost lumbosacral region, means in the pelvis. So the terminology we have to remember: metanephric blastema and the ureteric bud. Now what happens to the metanephric blastema? As I said, it forms a cup-shaped structure over the growing end of the ureteric bud, and that is called metanephric blastemal cap. Now this is a solid structure. Later it becomes a vesicle-like. Then it is called metanephric vesicle or renal vesicle. Now this renal vesicle gets elongated and then it forms S-shaped tubule. S-shaped tubule. Now this S-shaped tubule, further elongation causes the formation of DCT, the loop of Henle, the PCT, and the Bowman's capsule. The Bowman capsule is formed by the terminal end dilates and forms a cup-shaped structure into which the capillaries will invaginate, and this is called Bowman's capsule. So the metanephric blastema, which is forming metanephric blastemal cap, and then it forms the metanephric vesicle or renal vesicle, which in turn develops, elongates to form the DCT, loop of Henle, and then PCT, and also the Bowman's capsule into which the capillaries will invaginate. So this is the development of kidney. So kidney develops from intermediate mesoderm. Intermediate mesoderm will be divided into two parts. Medial part, the genital ridge, and lateral part is called nephrogenic cord. The nephrogenic cord extends from craniocaudally and the uppermost part, that is the cervical and upper thoracic regions, forms the pronephros that will disappear completely or regresses completely by the end of 4th week. And after that, metanephros will be formed, and metanephros, the major part, will not give rise to any part of the kidney. Only the lower part, diverticulum, comes out, that is called ureteric bud, that forms the collecting part of the kidney. The remaining part which persists, that is the caudal part of the mesonephros, which persists, and that forms the ducts of the genital ducts or duct system of the male reproductive system. Now the metanephric blastema, that forms the excretory part of the kidney, that is the different parts of the nephron. Now, as I said, it develops in the pelvic region, lumbosacral region or pelvic region. So, how it comes into the upper posterior abdominal wall or just below the diaphragm. What are the reasons? What are the causes of ascent of kidney? One cause is there is less space in the pelvic cavity, so it cannot accommodate the enlarging kidney there, so it has to go up. The second reason is the differential growth of the entire abdominal cavity. Third reason is the diminishing of the fetal curvature in later stage, and that also causes ascent of the kidney. And the fourth reason is the lengthening of the ureteric bud. So it as it gets elongated to form the ureter, it causes the kidney to go up. So that these are the reasons for ascent of the kidney. Now, as it ascends from the pelvic region to the upper abdominal wall, cavity, it gets blood supply from different sources. It does not continue with the same source of supply. It gets different sources. In the pelvic region, it gets blood supply from the median sacral artery. It is a branch of the abdominal aorta. In the iliac fossa, it crosses over the pelvic rim, and in the iliac fossa, it gets blood supply from the common iliac artery or internal iliac artery. In the adult position, it gets blood supply from the aorta, that is called renal artery, and also from the suprarenal, inferior suprarenal artery. So this is the ascent of the kidney. Ascent is due to different reasons, and at each position it gets blood from different sources of arteries. Now this is a diagram which is showing both ascent as well as the different source of blood supply. Here it gets from the common iliac, that is in the iliac fossa, common iliac artery or internal iliac artery, and here it gets blood supply from the renal artery as well as the inferior suprarenal artery. Now it develops in the sacral region. Ascent is due to that we have already discussed: differential growth of the posterior abdominal wall, reduction of fetal body curvature. The other two reasons I said are the diminished space in the pelvic cavity and the increase in length of the ureteric bud, and it reaches the thoracolumbar region. So in fetal, the kidney is lobulated, and it remains lobulated till the completion of first year after birth. So that is about the ascent and different sources of blood supply. Now kidney also undergoes rotation. Initially the hilum is facing anteriorly, and it goes medial rotation, and so that the hilum will be facing medially. Now, abdominal rotation also can occur in this. Instead of medially, it goes laterally, and the hilum will be facing laterally. Or it can go complete rotation of 180 degree, and so that the hilum will be facing medially, but the renal artery will be encircling the kidney. So these are the two abnormal rotation. One is lateral rotation, one is the complete rotation of 180 degree. Now, other developmental anomalies, different methods we can follow as per the number. If there is agenesis or failure to develop kidney, that is called agenesis. It can be unilateral or bilateral. This is due to the ureteric bud, failure of ureteric bud to develop, and the induction or inducing the metanephric metanephros also fails there. Now, the same way agenesis, failure of development, here we get more number of kidneys. This is due to early splitting of ureteric bud. Now, the ureteric bud is coming, and then it splits into different parts. Each part will stimulate a different section of the metanephros, and each one will start developing into kidney. So that way we get multiple kidneys. According to position, one is pelvic kidney, that is fails to ascend. So failure in ascending, that causes pelvic kidney. Fused kidney, that from the right kidney goes to the left side, and then it gets fused to the left kidney. So you don't see any kidney on right side. So that is called fused kidney. Usually the upper one will be the normal one which belongs to the same side, and the lower one will be the one which is shifting position from the other side to this side. So that is about the fused kidney. Now, about the shape, according to the shape, there are two conditions. One is horseshoe kidney. It is the partial fusion, that is fusion of only the lower poles, and this part is called isthmus. So this lower pole will get fused to each other, and it will be lying in front of the inferior vena cava and abdominal aorta. Now, disc kidney means complete fusion of both kidney with the hilum facing posteriorly, so that the ureter comes out from the posterior aspect. Now, polycystic kidney. The polycystic kidney, because of the failure of fusion, they say, the collecting part and secretory part, so it will appear as small cyst, different sizes in the kidney, multiple cysts. Usually it is bilateral. It is two types are there, adult type and the fetal type. The adult type is both are genetic disorder. Adult type is autosomal dominant type, and the fetal type is autosomal recessive type. Accessory renal artery means extra artery other than the renal artery. So it may be coming to the lower pole, or it may be going to the upper pole. Now, if it is coming to the lower pole, it may cross over the ureter, and it can cause compression of the ureter, so that there will be back pressure, and that leads to enlargement of the kidney. That is called hydronephrosis. Floating kidney, in this the kidney will be movable, and it will be connected to the posterior abdominal wall by a layer or fold of peritoneum. And in this case, as it comes down, it can cause kinking or bending of the renal artery or the ureter. So in this case, the patient gets sudden onset of severe abdominal pain, especially in the loin region, with obstruction to urine outflow, and this is called Dietz crisis. This condition is called Dietz crisis. So these are the congenital anomalies of kidney. you need to pay attention to the development of kidney as well as the developmental anomalies of the kidney, because both can be asked, and it can be asked in viva, embryology viva also. So this development is very important. That's all about the development and the developmental anomalies of the kidney. Okay, thank you.